The following podcast is part of our Best of Invisible Wheelchair podcast for 2017. It was previously broadcast this past year and is being rebroadcast here. Welcome to another edition of the Invisible Wheelchair Interview Podcast. I'm Donald Grodoff, family coach with FamilyOCD.com, FocusedHealthyFamily.com, and of course, InvisibleWheelchair.com. In the Invisible Wheelchair interviews, I get the wonderful chance to interview some of the experts with obsessive compulsive disorders, professionals that treat OCD, people who are going through or have been through OCD, parents and caregivers of those suffering from OCD, and of course anyone that advocates for treatment of OCD. My goal of these interviews is to inform people on all aspects of OCD and bring about awareness of obsessive compulsive disorder. Please remember that I am not a doctor, therapist, or counselor, and the content, information, resources, and ideas that are talked about and brought up here in these interviews are not necessarily the views and opinions of myself, Family OCD, Focused Healthy Family, and Invisible Wheelchair Podcast, and I always recommend to seek additional professional help in finding solutions for yourself. You can find out more about me at FamilyOCD.com, FocusedHealthyFamily.com, and InvisibleWheelchair.com. This interview was recorded on June 23, 2017. I am so excited today to have Ryan Glubo as my guest. Ryan knows firsthand about living with OCD. Ryan Glubo is the owner of Worry Free Fitness here in Charlotte, North Carolina. You can find it at www.worryfreefit.com. By the time he was in second grade, he realized he had Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, or OCD. As he grew older, he realized he did certain things very different than others. He has been hospitalized, seen numerous doctors, therapists, professionals, and been on countless different types of medication, but that has never stopped him. He was a nationally ranked tennis player who went on to play college tennis, as well as graduate from Bloomsburg University. Luckily, Ryan had a supportive cast of people in his life, from his parents, his sister, and these days, his loving and supportive wife. Growing up, he didn't have the luxury of being able to connect with others who suffered from OCD, and he felt he was alone. As time went on and he grew older, he realized that he was not alone. He turned his suffering into a passion for helping others through their OCD, through exercise and fitness, when he started Worry Free Fitness, with the goal of helping others who are suffering from OCD, anxiety, and depression to get better and to know life can be enjoyable. So Ryan is here with me today to tell his story and bring a message to the world. So let's get to the interview now. So, Ryan, welcome to the Invisible Wheelchair Podcast. I'm so glad to have you on today.
Thank you, Don. I'm really excited to be here, share my story with you and your audience. Thank you for having me.
Well, you're welcome. So, Ryan, what I'd like to ask, if you could share your story of your life through OCD.
Absolutely. I mean, I grew up with OCD. I started noticing it in second grade. That's when the rituals and the tics really came about, and my parents noticed it as well. That's when I remember going to my first doctor. I did things, washing my hands. I had to erase things, rewrite things in school, checking under my bed, going in and out of showers. I was taking, 3-4 hour showers at some point. So having that OCD at that young of an age was really hard. especially in a time where I couldn't share it with anybody, and I kind of felt like I was alone. So as I got older, I was able to see more therapists, really found a therapist that worked for me. And I had a supportive family. I had my mother, my father, my sister who really, took me under their wing and really helped me along the way. But growing up with OCD, it's not something I know we hear on TV. We hear on what our friends say. I'm so OCD. I have to wear the same shorts if I have a victory going in sports. But it's something that really deterred my life. It set me back. It was hard to make friends with OCD. It was hard to communicate with people. Go to sleepovers, just because I was afraid of, well, what if I have a ritual that comes about? What if someone sees me? And I think the biggest thing I noticed was it was at my father's uncle's funeral. That's when I first saw my father cry, and that's when I really realized and saw my OCD come out. So it was a traumatic situation that made it happen, and I think that's what really put it together. That okay, I need to fix this. I need to figure out what's going on, because it was taking me hours to go to bed. Some kids are going to bed at 9 o'clock at night. I would start to go to bed at 9 at night, and I wouldn't fall asleep until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, because I had to turn my light switch on, turn it off countless times, which then set me up for the next day, being tired. I went to school tired. I overslept. I didn't make it to school on time. So it affects everything, not just counting and not just getting in and out of a shower, not just washing my hands, but it affected my whole day and as well as my family.
I'm going to ask you a question here is, how did you see it affect the others in your family?
I just remember, coming home and my mom seeing me go in and out of my front door, and just the look of just sadness, not judging me, not just sadness that she wished she could do more, that my mom and my father wished that they can do more. When with someone with OCD, there's only so much a parent can do. It's really on the child to make a decision whether they want to try to fix this or not. But, my mom and my father also went to countless support groups. They got a therapist of their own of how to help me. And I think also when I was in grade school and really in middle school, is when my anger went out with my OCD, because I started developing depression, and I started acting in a way that I don't ever recall myself acting. I wasn't going to class. I was failing. I wasn't getting along with my peers, and I could tell it really frustrated and made my parents upset. And it was almost like they couldn't do anything. No matter how much help they gave me, no matter how much resources, they put in front of me, I wasn't ready to change, and I didn't think I was worth it to change, and I think that as I got older and now, I'm starting my own family, I realized that it must have been so hard on them, and I didn't appreciate everything that they did for me, especially my sister also. I remember we would be it would be nighttime and my sister slept in the room next to me, and I would be switching on and off the lights. And my sister would try to come in, and she would try to help me, and she would try to, stop me from doing it, and I would just get angry. Even though I knew she was trying to help, it's just a gut reaction to me that just, I got angry. I felt like I was being judged, even though I know I wasn't, and yeah. I think that's the hardest thing for the parents and for siblings, especially older ones, is that there's only so much that they could do. And it's a hard situation to be in, especially if the child's not willing to change, So I think that was the biggest thing with my parents.
And you and I had talked about we want to get more into the family and talk. So we'll probably do another podcast talking about family and relationships. How did you really find help for yourselves?
I remember going through countless therapists, countless psychiatrists. And what people ask me sometimes, and what I really try to let people know, is you kind of know right off the bat when you meet somebody. Either you click or you don't click. Either that person, understand you and you really feel like they're there to help you, or are you just another patient? Are you just another client to them? And I remember I think I was 10 years old when I found my therapist, and my last therapist, Sandra. She was a lifesaver for myself and my family, especially my mother. Me and my mom would go to her together, and we would try to work through things, but she really got me. She put me in situations that I was able to succeed in. I think that's so important that kids, adults, whoever who has OCD, anxiety, depression, whatever it may be, that we're put in situations that we can succeed. I remember seeing a few doctors that were telling me to do things, and it just didn't click, and I didn't understand why. And so I didn't have the knowledge, so I didn't do it. Sandra really put me in a situation that I understood, okay, I want you to do this, this, and this is why I want you to do this. And I think with that, I was able to really open up to her. I was able to feel comfortable, and I was able to, okay, let me do this so I can see the goals and see that I succeed with these goals that are put in front of me. And I think once I got that therapist, I was able to communicate a little bit better with my family, so our home life got better. And mind you, it took a long time for that to happen. I mean, we got into some brutal fights, me and my family. I mean, it would be in the morning, during the day, at night, all the time. And it took me to get a little older to understand a little bit more of what my family was trying to do, what my therapists were trying to do, and what I'm trying to accomplish, for me to really let people in and let them see me for who I am, and try to get better, not only for my family, but for myself. So I think that was a huge stepping stone for my recovery and for me to see myself getting better. And then the older I got, the more, I was a tennis player growing up, so I played since I was 5 years old. And the one thing I know is that tennis helped me. When I was on that court, all I was focused on was the opponent or my training. So anything I was doing with OCD just went out the window because I wasn't focused on that. My mind was focused on something else. And that's, where it kind of clicked inside was, okay, I see a difference. I can control my OCD.
And I understand the fit or not shake, because I really believe for OCD that you really need a person, a practitioner or a professional that understands OCD to be able to really heal it. So, and that kind of what you just said leads me into talking about the tennis and all. And the fact I know that you have, really used fitness as a way of getting past your OCD. And I was wondering how fitness training and fitness work relate to solving or getting past those, working with OCD and getting past it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I was in college when I first realized that fitness and really helped with my OCD, that I didn't have to depend on medicine to better myself. And that's what I was doing. I was depending on medicine and medicine alone, which I don't suggest. You have to put the work in. And I joined, I remember when I was in college, I was a part of a 24/7 fitness. And no matter what, so 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And no matter what time of day it was, if I had a certain ritual that came out, whether it be washing my hands or checking or asking questions, I wanted to do an experiment. I wanted to, because I knew I felt better on the tennis court. I knew that when I was playing tennis, when I was running for a tennis ball, I felt better. So I wanted to try a little experiment, and I went to the gym. Every time I had something, no matter how small or big it was, I went to the gym and I went for a run, or I did weights, or I jump rope, anything that got my mind active. And I found my OCD to decrease. I found myself not focused on my OCD, but almost forgetting I had a tick or I had a ritual that I was doing. I would be in the middle of washing my hands and I would be on minute number 10, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym. If I feel this way after 5 minutes of going to the gym, then I'll go back to washing my hands. And not all the time, but more times than not, I found myself forgetting I was even washing my hands, and I was just in the zone, listening to music and working out. And that's when it really clicked to me that, hey, fitness has a big big proponent with mental health. And to me, what I've noticed is, I've trained my mind for so many years that I have to do things a certain way, that I have to, if I'm in the middle of a ritual, I have to complete it. So I've trained my mind that I have to complete this ritual that I do, that I have to wash my hands, or if I don't, bad things are going to happen. Well, since college, I've tried retraining my brain saying, okay, well, I'm in the middle of this ritual. I don't have to complete it. I can come back to it if I feel the need. Let me try breaking it up. So I'm almost breaking up the cycle is the term I like to use. I'm breaking up that cycle in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And, that really helped. And I really think, especially building a stronger body, people say, well, people do fitness for a six pack or for, bigger muscles. No, that's not the point of it. You're also building a stronger mind. You're building confidence. You're building coordination. All these things that are interchangeable with OCD.
How long do you think that using fitness, how long do you think it took you to get to a point with OCD where you feel like you were managing it?
Just like I've trained my brain for so many years, 15 years, to do things a certain way. It takes a while to untrain your brain to do it that way. I started seeing results, though, within a few months. Not saying that I wasn't doing my OCD, but that I felt like I had control over it. And I did have times, I did have times where I was, my OCD got out of hand. But I felt with the fitness, I was able to reel it back in. That before I was doing fitness, if I went out of hand, it'd be out of hand for a few months, for 4 or 5 months of just uncontrollable OCD. Now I feel I could rein it back in, and within 6 months, I got it to the point where it wasn't a few months where my OCD rituals were going out of control, but maybe it was a few days, and then I was able to work it back in. And I got to the point now where it's not even a day that my rituals go out of control. I'm able to control them. I'm able to change the cycle in my mind, forcing myself that I don't have to do this, but there's an other way. There's an alternative way to helping, and I think everyone's different, especially with the kids that I see. Everyone's different. Everyone handles, this method a different way. But what I try to say is the longer you stick with it, and the more you give a chance, and the more you're open to it, the more of a change you'll see. Because I did it for myself, I was 100% open. I believed in it, and I still believe in it to this day, fully. So for me, it's a little bit quicker because I went all in. I did everything I had to do, and then after college, that, like you said, that's why I started Worry-Free Fitness, because I felt a real connection with it. I feel it could really help, and, and I feel because I've been through it myself, I have a deeper connection and a deeper meaning with OCD and helping others to make sure they don't feel that they're alone and that there's no way out, because that's not true.
So that's great. So I guess I want to know a little bit more about Worry-Free Fitness. What specifically do you do at Worry-Free Fitness to help others that are going through anxiety or going through OCD? How does Worry-Free Fitness work for you?
With Worry-Free Fitness, each child, each person's different. So I really, I meet with the child, I meet with their parents, and we try to assess what's going on. Okay, so whether it be through depression, anxiety, OCD, we assess what those rituals are and what they're going through, and then we implement a specific program to help that child or to help whoever it is we are working with. What I found is especially with OCD, we just go through our day and we just go through the motions as if please don't let another ritual or another episode occur. So we don't really have any daily goals that we're trying to achieve. We're just trying not to have a ritual come about. So what I try to implement are specific goals as well with this fitness program to give the child a sense of accomplishment, a sense of direction to what they're trying to accomplish throughout the day. And what I found is that, just like with me, if they're in the middle of a ritual and they're able to separate it through a specific fitness program, and again, this program really is supposed to be for someone that they could do in their home. So you don't need to join a fancy gym. You don't need, you could do it in your home. You could do it right outside. And when we do this, we're breaking the cycle. You know, I mentioned that before, trying to break the cycle of this OCD, of this depression, of this anxiety that all are interchangeable and, you know, that all relate to each other, and trying to change how our mind perceives OCD. Right now, you know, and I know I went through this, I woke up every day my first thought was, I hope I don't have a bad day. I hope my OCD isn't out of control today. I hope I can get through a normal day. I hope I can get through class today. Well, I was setting myself up for negativity. I was setting myself up for failure. You know, what we're trying to do is we're trying to set up our clients with success, with positivity, and I do that through fitness. So whether it be running or lifting weights or yoga or meditation or anything of that nature, everything is supposed to be positive. Everything is supposed to set this child up for success and for positivity. And that's what I found fitness can do, because it builds their confidence, it builds their self-esteem, it builds, you know, their coordination. And while breaking up the cycle, and sometimes they don't even realize it. You know, they're working out, they're doing weights instead of doing a ritual, and they don't even realize that, well, before this, I was in my bathroom washing my hands for 4 hours. Well, if I know I don't have to do that now, maybe later when my ritual comes out, I can say to myself, let me try something else that Worry-Free Fitness taught me. Let me try doing a circuit training. And then if I have to go back to the ritual, that's okay. But maybe I won't have to, and maybe I can get through this and break up that cycle. And that's really what we focus on, breaking up that cycle through fitness, encouraging positivity, and encouraging a different way of life, improving life.
Oh, that's fantastic, Ryan. Can you give me, you know, your website, your phone number, where you're at, a little bit about Worry-Free Fitness for people that might be listening?
You know, you can find us at www.worryfreefit.com. You know, my name's Ryan Glubo. I'm the owner. Like you said in the beginning, you can reach us at our phone number, 732-406-7719, or just shoot me an email at worryfree86@gmail.com. And we set up a free consultation. So the first thing we do is always free. We always set it up as a consultation. This way I get to meet the parent and the child and the parent gets to meet me, and we go from there. You know, it's really important that we're all comfortable with each other, because if the child doesn't trust me or trust the process, then it won't succeed. So that's the main priority, is that the child gets to meet me as well.
Well, Ryan, this has been wonderful. I've really enjoyed talking with you. You've given some great information. I think this is wonderful what you're doing out there, helping people through fitness. So thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Don, for having me. I really appreciate it. You know, and I forgot to mention also, we do have a support group for adults, you know, and parents as well. So if that's something that people are interested in, please contact me for that information as well. But it's been a pleasure, and I'm happy to share it, and I'm glad. And I just want everyone to know that they are not alone. There are hundreds of thousands of kids out there that are going through the same thing.
And we will have that support group information and Worry-Free Fitness, Ryan's information up on the Invisible Wheelchair podcast site and on FamilyOCD.com, my site. So again, thank you, Ryan, and everybody have a great day.
This concludes this podcast. Please remember to leave comments for me, because that really helps me to understand what you're looking for and helps give me fodder for the next possible podcast. Also, I'd love to hear your invisible wheelchair story if you're willing to share it. If you are, feel free to go to invisiblewheelchair.com and click on Tell Your Story. Now, if you've heard these things and you feel like you need further assistance or some help in what you're going through, and you want to spend some time with me working through those issues, then feel free to book a session at focusedhealthyfamily.com or familyocd.com, or simply call me at 704-562-1630. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast and will join me for the next one. Remember, keep tapping, talking, and transcending your life new heights. Thank you, and have a great day.